Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are great wherever you're watching this from today. We have yet more updates out of Venezuela and the United States, as it looks like people within Venezuela might have attempted to get rid of Nicolas Maduro. Attempts have been made to contact the U.S. and say, hey, we can get rid of this guy. Don't invade us. Don't bomb us. Allow us to get rid of Maduro, and we can all have peace and everyone's going to get along. But were those offers accepted? What is going on? Is that still on the table? We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about it, and I'm going to give you my thoughts. Before we get started, you know the drill. Like and subscribe. Please comment with your thoughts below. What do you think about this whole situation with Venezuela? How does it end? Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a single thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me online. Social media, DMs are wide open. Now let's get into it. As we know, the United States of America and Venezuela are racing towards a military conflict. We have seen multiple different moves be made. We have seen multiple steps be taken in order for this thing to kick off in a massive and violent fashion. The biggest one, the two biggest ones, I would argue, other than the drug boats coming from Venezuela that have been blown up, that's obviously a huge, huge, huge deal. But outside of that, we had the B-52 bombers that flew off the coast for hours in a holding pattern off the coast of Venezuela. And then President Donald Trump did announce that he had authorized covert CIA action inside of Venezuela, lethal action. Now that's huge because action happens all the time, right? Actions, the CIA takes action all over the world constantly. But what you don't have generally is authorized killings, authorized direct action killings. And as I've said many times, this can be done with SEAL Team 6, Delta Force. They can be used in this situation because they can operate under Title 50 authority. Now, I'm going to throw this up on the screen. This comes from, I believe, the Miami Herald. Yes, Miami Herald. So the Venezuelans secretly, through third parties, reached out to the United States in order to set the stage to overthrow Maduro, to get rid of Maduro in a soft coup attempt, if you will. I think that's the best way to sum this up. It says exclusive. Venezuelan leaders offered U.S. a path to stay in power without Maduro. So we'll read some of this. A group of senior Venezuelan government officials led by Vice President Delcy Rodriguez and her brother Jorge, who is president of the National Assembly, have quietly promoted a series of initiatives in recent months aimed at presenting themselves to Washington as a more acceptable alternative to Nicolas Maduro's regime, according to people with direct knowledge of the talks. The proposals funneled through intermediaries in Qatar sought to persuade sectors of the U.S. government that a Madurismo without Maduro, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, could enable a peaceful transition in Venezuela, preserving political stability without dismantling the ruling apparatus. According to the sources, Qatari mediators, I am really butchering my words right now, I'm amped up, presented to the U.S. two formal proposals this year, one in April and another in September. Both outline potential governing mechanisms without Maduro in power. In those scenarios, Delcy Rodriguez would serve as the institutional continuity figure, while retired General Miguel Rodriguez Torres, who is currently in exile and is not related to the Rodriguez siblings, would head a transitional government. The central argument, the sources said, was that the Rodriguez siblings present a more palatable version of the so-called Chavismo, the socialist ideology named for deceased leader Hugo Chavez, for Washington, since neither has been indicted on narco trafficking charges by U.S. courts. However, former regime officials whose accounts have been used by U.S. prosecutors in cases linked to the so-called Cartel of the Suns have implicated both siblings in logistical support and money laundering operations. Sources told the Miami Herald that the offers through Qatar were made with Maduro's approval. I truly do not believe that whatsoever. It says some sectors in the Trump administrations interpreted the overtures as part of an informal strategy that became known as the Cartel Light, a softened version of the Chavismo designed to allow a managed transition without an abrupt rupture and without dismantling the regime's core structures. The April proposal called for Maduro to step down, remain in Venezuela with guarantees for his safety, and negotiate an arrangement granting U.S. companies access to Venezuelan oil and mining industries. In exchange, it suggested that U.S. prosecutors drop criminal charges against Maduro. Under that plan, Delcy Rodriguez would assume the country's presidency. The New York Times has previously reported that the regime's envoys held confidential talks for months with Rick Grenell, discussing the possibility of reopening Venezuela's energy sector to U.S. companies, reducing cooperation with Russia, China, and Iran, and redirecting oil exports towards the United States. This was the second proposal. Second proposals presented in September envision Maduro being replaced by a transitional government led by Delcy Rodriguez and Miguel Rodriguez Torres, with guarantees that the Venezuelan leader could seek exile in Qatar or Turkey. Rodriguez Torres, a former interior minister and intelligence chief, was once close ally of Hugo Chavez, became a political prisoner under Maduro. Though now exiled in Spain, he maintains connections with military circles and key Chavismo figures, making him, in the eyes of some observers, a potential broker for an orderly transition. So I'll pull that off the screen now. What we have there, and I got to get the next thing teed up for you here, because we got a couple things to go over. So give me one quick moment so that I can get it ready for you to go. So we're going to share this. Give me a second. So what they're trying to do is these Venezuelan leaders are coming to the U.S. and saying, hey, we can overthrow Maduro. We can get rid of Maduro. We can get him out of your way. We can get rid of him. Just don't bomb us. Let us take care of this problem. Let us overthrow him in what will essentially be a soft coup. Let us drive the knife into him, into his political career, his power, whatever you want to call it. We won't kill him. He'll still be alive, but he'll be in exile somewhere. He's going to go. He won't be running the government. Just don't bomb us. They are attempting to make some kind of deal. The U.S. is not taking them up on this offer. And the reason they haven't taken them up on this offer is because my speculation is the U.S. wants complete control of this situation. The U.S. wants total and absolute control. You're not going to get that if you're allowing other Venezuelan leaders to kind of set the stage, right? Not going to happen. So the Trump administration is racing towards war as a potential coup could be unfolding in Venezuela. A soft coup. It doesn't look like it's going to be a violent coup. Coup, for those of you who don't know, is what it's called when you overthrow the sitting government from within. When forces within overthrow the sitting government, that is called a coup. So right now, there are moving pieces of a soft coup, not a bloody coup, a soft coup to get rid of Maduro. The U.S. has not accepted these offers, although it would be probably better for us, cheaper for us, but we want to have control of the outcome. That is why the CIA has been authorized to conduct lethal strikes inside of Venezuela. President Trump talked about that on Thursday. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. We can all watch it here.
He wants to get it done. We'll see. There's a great animosity between him and Zelensky. You probably have noticed, right?
Give it a second.
And it's, I think it's hurting the process. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, thank you. Curious, why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged?
Well, I can't do that, but I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the, they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back, but that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela. They were down and dirty. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela, and a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
So right there, you have the president of the United States confirming the report that the CIA has been authorized to take lethal action inside Venezuela to kill people inside Venezuela, blow up targets, whatever it might be. And again, that would likely be done with the help of Delta Force and SEAL Team 6. And then right here, for those of you who haven't seen this yet, this is the flight the B-52 bombers took right down to Venezuela. The big blue patchy part, that is where they were flying their holding pattern before eventually turning around and returning to the United States of America. So we have a soft coup potentially that is lined up, ready to roll. We have people in Venezuela who are scheming up ways to get rid of Maduro and take power. Keep in mind, the United States also has a $50 million bounty on his head. We want someone to literally do this for us, but we want it to be done the right way. So we have a $50 million bounty on his head. His own people are trying to get rid of him. We have a naval armada off the coast. We're blowing up drug boats. We've got B-52 bombers flying off the coast of Venezuela in a massive, massive show of force. Venezuela tried to scramble a jet after they left to act tough for, I guess, their own entertainment, because if that old F-16 got anywhere near those F-35s, it would have been smoked before it even knew what had happened to it. That's the fact of the matter. This whole situation is a powder keg, and I would not be surprised at all to see a potential coup unfold. At the same time, I won't be surprised at all if it doesn't, and they try to cling to their guns, and then they get blown up in that process as well. It's a dangerous game. It's a dirty game, and it's the game the Venezuelan regime of Nicolas Maduro is chosen to play. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I have no problems with the good people of Venezuela. None. No problems with the good people of Venezuela. They've lived under Maduro's boot, and they have had to deal with his savagery for far too long. Our problem is with the regime, its leaders, Nicolas Maduro, and all the thugs around him. That's who we have a problem with. That's who needs to be dealt with, and that's who I hope is dealt with. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this massive update that people in Venezuela might try to overthrow Maduro? Please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free, costs you absolutely nothing. Hit that bell, all notifications turn on, and then right here, Instagram at David_Hookstead, X D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. I'll see you all next time.